Hi Scorpio, behind me you may hear a series of noises, including my dishwasher. Just wanted to let you know before we get into your January/Capricorn season reading. All information to work with me one-on-one is below, and the second part to this reading will come out, give it about 24 to 48 hours. It will be in the first link below, which is on Patreon. First card out is Justice. Okay. Interestingly enough. So a lot of you are maybe seeing a lot of what's coming to light in your life is a lot of moments where you are finding that whatever you've decided and put into action mentally is now starting to show up physically. You're starting to see the consequences of certain decisions. You're actually coming across making decisive action this month. Capricorn season is a cardinal earth sign, so it wants to initiate, wants to get things done. And in the first few days of Capricorn season, which have already passed, you may have felt the transition into this, and by this time, you know, the middle, about like the beginning/middle of the season, there's the energy of whatever's weighing heavily. So we have Justice, we have the scales, whatever's weighing heavily on your mind at this time, you need to give yourself the energy, the confidence to choose the direction. The Queen of Swords and the Six of Wands are both facing the same direction at this time, where Justice is facing forward. So something is directly facing you, and yet at the same time, there is your energy may be somewhere else right now. So in order to get to that somewhere else, you can't avoid what's right in front of you, but you don't have to do anything drastic at this time. You may be needing a moment to, like, before I make any decision or before I do anything, the best thing I can always do for myself is either move my body or do meditation or both. So what's happening with you is that your confidence may be coming from where it is that you are moving toward. Because what has happened is that you can put energy into something, you can put your time into something, you can put your hard work into something specific, yet what in return is given isn't nearly as what you gave. But with all that energy being given to something specific, you're also in an area, you could be neglecting another area of your life, especially if you're extreme about it. So it's also possible that this month is initiating you into a different balance of life. And it's closing this chapter of wherever it is that you're feeling like you give too much and don't get enough back, and having you realize that the power, because every sign has its power, but what I find to be the most powerful time of year is what in the Northeast we have winter, or in the North we have winter. So it's like that turn from Scorpio season into Capricorn season. There's a lot of power behind the emotional, spiritual, then physical changes that we are going through, because those are the elements. And we can go more in depth in that too. But the changes coming from this clarity that you're finding. It's right away, these cards draw me to the head. There's something about being headstrong this month, about what you're choosing. Which may be going away from a system, or going away from what or moving away from, or going against a different thought. Going against something that has been maybe traditional in thought. That's the word I'm looking for. I am being more thoughtful with my reading, so I might slow down a little bit in the future. 6 of Wands, and then 8 of Pentacles, and the 6 of Pentacles, and then this World card here. You're in a time where you have this very strong confidence to put your energy into what it is that you find important at this time, whatever it is that you want to create at this time, whatever is like wanting your attention. Like, what is the thing that you keep thinking about? What keeps coming to your mind at this time? What have you paid little mind to? 6 of Pentacles. And now there's this big revolutionizing change. You're now realizing that not giving whatever's been gnawing at you and like you wanting your attention, like over here, not giving it that attention. Now you need to, it looks like you're shifting direction completely. And it's this Mercury in Sagittarius, Mercury entering Capricorn on the 13th power. So from here until the 13th, and throughout the course of the Capricorn transit in Mercury in Capricorn, you have the mental fortitude. You are engaging with what has needed to be addressed. And just like, it's interesting because that's what's similar to Aquarius, is that Aquarius, it couldn't happen until now. So you might want to also check out their reading. For yours, it couldn't happen until now. And you have the wherewithal, the energy, the power behind you to put what you couldn't have into this before. You are able. And wherever it was that you weren't getting that energy from, right? So there also could be someone in your life who presents you an opportunity at this time. And it's because you're finally looking the other way and you're like, why now? It's because you finally decided to shift. When fixed signs, this is what I say about fixed signs and how you guys change. When you finally decide to change, everything changes. Everything. It's not extreme. It's just how you guys change. It's not like mutable that can go back and forth a little, do a little this here, do a little that there, have the focus, have the energy, but then can pull and adjust as they go. Cardinal signs have a harder time learning how to stop and go because their ego can get in the way. All of ours can, but that's where theirs can. But yours is like, okay, finally, I'm ready. Because for some reason, the fixed signs have gone through, all of you in their own way have gone through this similar, I'm going to keep these cards. We'll use those in the second part. I wanted to keep yours very short and to the point this month because I don't think that telling you too much at this time, not that you have a lot more to say, and the second part we'll get into that anyway, but doing too much at this time for any of you is not in your best interest because you have so much. So the power that I'm talking about is this in your decision making, because once you decide something and you really are fine, like even if you weighed back and forth about it, even if you have been someone who has been in your head a little bit too much, or it's possible that you just weren't ready, and then now it has presented itself and you're finally ready. There's this sureness about what and how you're shifting, because and for a lot of you, it's about maybe how you make money or how much you make and wanting more and looking for a raise and knowing and how much you give compared to what you receive, and how that's allowed things to run the way it's run for a long time, and it's this worthiness that you stand in. It's this ability to adjust at this point that gives you more strength and power in your ability to stand in your worth, because you're not willing to continue to try to change your situation where it is. It's the power to look elsewhere, maybe again looking elsewhere at that thing that is maybe pulling you, like but if you stay in the back and forth, you'll never find out if it's worth it or not, because if you do it, you'll find out in the beginning, because you'll see if it's worth moving forward with, if it's worth continuing to put your energy into. Some people just know. There's either resistance because you're resisting the success of it, or resisting whatever it is within your own, wherever you learn, there's resistance there, or it's just that you know it's not the right way to go. This month is about really connecting to this earthly instinct about yourself, this material instinct about yourself, but using your mind and using the power of your body, your being. So Capricorns like to move their body. It's really important because that's what connects them deeper into their intuition. It's like, I don't know if you've ever seen like a movie where they're like using running water to create electricity, because Capricorn is both the mountain goat, but the sea goat is also represented by the sea goat as well. So that's both land and water. That's intuition about earthly matters. You have this extra sense this month, and it would be so wise of you to use it, because you feel there's some deep connection with whatever it is that you are learning about change and about yourself, and how you change and how you go about making changes, or how they just like kind of are enforced upon you almost. Every sign has a way that they're almost enforced change in order to grow, right? And whatever you're resisting. So whatever that is for you is becoming really apparent this month. It's almost like you feel like you're in college to a certain extent. You're learning something really important for what's to come. And towards the end of the season, end of the month, into Aquarius season, you'll find that the more that you move towards this trusting, the more that you are supported. You'll find that you maybe become even luckier, right? You might even find that where you find abundance also finds you. So, for example, like if you're in a place and you just felt the need to go there, you go somewhere and maybe it's just like for coffee or something, and now you're there and all of a sudden you meet someone, or you get a free thing, like a decadent treat, or you meet someone, you just so happen to be like in this open energy where you're connecting with people in a different way, where you learn something that you needed to learn and you wouldn't have known unless you connected with this person, or maybe hopefully if like the universe works, find out in a different way. But the fact that it happened in the specific way it happened for you, and maybe connected on an emotional level, has you maybe inspired. Maybe that's what gives you inspiration, because we have the Justice card and Magician, which is also Libra, Sagittarius energy, which are both different kinds of connectors in the zodiac. So this mental shift also maybe has to do with how much exchange you've allowed in your life, like where you've put, maybe it could be boundaries, it could be walls, it could just be what you thought was safety or what felt comfortable for you, what you haven't been, or maybe you just haven't been exposed beyond where your limit is. So you're being exposed to what's beyond your limitations at this point, and sometimes you have to be willing to be more extroverted, more external with what's going on in your life in order to almost commit, right? You need to make it real. Some people, sometimes it's not very Capricorn to say something or expose something until they're ready, but they'll also expose something in order to be accountable to committing to it, especially if it's like to the right people, the people that they trust. So they say it in order to directly say, like, I'm saying this out loud to commit to it. And like a lot of other people do that too, but that's another way to keep yourself accountable with this, but with the right person, right? There might be someone that you really trust with all of this, or trust with your thoughts and trust with your changes, and maybe you're shifting and now you see how the difference between the Seven of Pentacles and the Six of Pentacles, the difference between investing your energy, which I also talked about a lot about with Aquarius, in terms of giving it away, and what that exchange looks like. So it looks like this season is much about exchange for you and how you go about exchanging different habits, thought patterns, like physically, monetarily, how you exchange one thing for another in your life as well, in terms of relationships, ideas, skills, because you've acquired some skills here that have a lot of potential. You just have to be willing to focus on that for a while, and then it can become something different that can then change and transform, grow. Also, if some of you legally have been dealing with something, it looks like it will be a very clear, concise finish to it. Also, like, you might be getting some really good karma from this too. It might be in your favor. Yeah. It's also in your favor to realize that your worth doesn't have to do with how much you give as opposed to receive, or vice versa. It's just finding where your scale on that is, what you can actually do, what's actually we're actually able to do, you know, and being honest about it. Because as you move forward, as we move forward away from what we no longer find is helpful, or we no longer connect with about ourselves, it doesn't go away completely, but as it transforms, we're brought into situations to allow that to change, to take a moment before we respond, to not just react. You know, we actually can be grounded enough to be present enough to say, do, respond in the way in which, from where you're at right now. And you have opportunity to expose yourself in a different way that will be seen in a way that you may have been hoping for. You're being noticed, Scorpio. And, you know, why not? We'll see you in the next part. First link below. Give it about 24 to 48 hours before this first official video comes out for that one to come out, but we'll get more into detail about more about this justice, the process, the Magician, the health of your mind and vitality, and all things that to do with what happens when you tap into that confident part of you and the power that has in your life. Okay? We'll see you there.